manage successfully an economic program, particularly an extended credit facility program under the IMF, tell them that I say the NPP has always been failures. Their biggest talent is failure in economic management. And let me give you an example.
Okay. In
2015, when we embarked on the IMF program, you remember we exited in 2016. Three of the key structural reforms and the challenges that we needed to deal at that time were, one, we needed to build reserves in terms of net international reserves to provide more forex into the economy to support the cedi. Okay. Two, the wage bill had become a big problem because before Kufuor left office, he signed an agreement with our social partners, our labor unions, to convert the universal salary structure into a single spine salary structure. Ghana was already committed, and so Professor Mills and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama had to implement the single spine salary structure, which created a big problem for us. So we needed to find a way to rationalize the wage bill and to be able to contain that within the sphere of our expenditure framework, and to ensure that the revenues that we're generating were adequate to cover for this monumental expenditure that we're experiencing. Three, we're supposed to rein in what we call fiscal dominance over monetary policy. And when we talk about fiscal dominance over monetary policy, what we are simply saying is that the IMF indicated that we should observe what we call zero financing from the central bank. In other words, the central bank should not print money and give money to government. Okay, so in 2016, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ran this economy without taking 1 penny from the central bank, from the Bank of Ghana. Okay. When we left power and they came, they went to the IMF and said that they want a 1-year extension. The 1 year was given them. So instead of ending the program in 2018, they extended to 2019.
There's a challenge with this, because we lay people, we don't normally understand how the extension was done. Was it that they were going to increase the money or what?
No, we call it, what do you call it? No cost extension. The money is still the same, but we are saying that you need more time to achieve some of the targets. We call them performance criteria.
Okay.
You need time to build up the reserve. You need time to wean yourself off printing money from the central bank. You need time to contain the wage bill. That's technically what they said. So they gave them the 1 year, which means that the program would have ended in December 2019. 4 months after they got the extension, okay, they missed all the targets. So the IMF program was no more on course. They went to the IMF and said, even though we came for an extension, it is becoming clear that even if you give us 20 years, we don't have the capacity to do it. It's like a school child preparing for a 3-year course. And then you arrive when you are supposed to write the BEC. You come and say, oh, give me 1 more year. Everybody is writing 3 years. You say they should give you 1 more year. They give you 1 more year. 4 months into the 1 year, you come and say, oh, bro, that thing, even if you give me 10 years, I can't pass this exams. I can't pass this exam. So don't let us waste our time. Allow me to go. My vision and my dream is that I want to go into the market and see if I can sell something. The education, I don't even think I can do it anymore. That's what they did. They wrote to the IMF, I say 17th of April, 2019. Anybody who has access to the IMF website, go and look for the IMF reference number 1997. Okay, it is an IMF document that exited Ghana from that IMF program in 2019, and they said that they were giving us, in fact the government of Ghana requested for a waiver. A waiver means forgive us, a waiver for non-conformance with performance criteria. In other words, forgive us our inability to meet the performance criteria. And which were the performance criteria? 1, wage bill, a key component of the program. They said we can't meet it. The second one was the net international reserves. They said we can't meet it. No wonder the cedi is hata, as Akufo-Addo will say. And then the fourth one was zero financing by the central bank. No more that they are printing more money. They said we cannot do without printing money at the central bank. They missed that target in November 2018. So they exited the program without performing the difficult task that was needed to reset the economy. So they exited the program in May of 2019. Just 4 months later, September 2019, the central bank, in its monetary policy press statement, made it very clear that the fiscal was a big challenge and that the economy was heading in the wrong direction, and that we're going to end the year with large fiscal deficits. So clearly, you see, you went away, you didn't pass the exams, you went away, and you force yourself to wear a tie to go and sit in an office as a clerk. They give you a letter, you now take the letter out to look for somebody to write the letter for you. Do you understand that? So, this is the central bank. Dr. Addison, just 4 months after running away from the IMF, Addison was saying that the reasons why we went to the IMF were beginning to show their face because we didn't do it. Our fiscal was in shambles. Okay, they made it very clear that at the time we were running very large. We were going to end the year with large fiscal deficits, and they had begun to now impose further taxes on the people. They had begun to print more money, and they failed. So if anybody ever tells you that they completed the ECF program that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama completed, refer them to their own application to the IMF for non-conformance of performance criteria. Okay, so they didn't complete the program, they ran away from the program, and now how many months later, just 4 months later, they were back where we started. And the governor, you remember when we had this issue of the Bank of Ghana printing a lot of money go and read the press statement that the governor issued. The governor said he was giving the chronology of events from 2019 where the problem started. So it's not COVID, it's not Russia-Ukraine war. The central bank, in its own letter, was very clear that they shouldn't blame me at the Bank of Ghana. In fact, I came in to help them from 2019 because they were messing up. This is the Bank of Ghana. And Addison says the reason why we were in this situation was because even in 2022, when the international capital market were beginning to distrust, they didn't trust us, and they were losing confidence in the economy, they were looking up to the budget for 2022, which was passed in December 2021, to give them hope. Addison says that budget itself was even more expansionary. These are his words. It was even more expansionary by 23%. In other words, over expenditure was our problem. They were looking up to see that we would tighten our belt. We put together a budget that actually ensured that our expenditure was even 23% more. That's when the market got angry, and they shut the door on us. You understand? Today, this new IMF program is being derailed. They are back to what they know. If anybody tells you this IMF program today, they've missed several targets. Go and read the IMF staff report, the recent staff report for the second review. Read page 48 and 49. They've listed 6 performance criteria that have been missed. How do you tell us that you are on course when you already failed the exams? You are scoring F just 2 years into the program. So His Excellency John Mahama is going to take this program, and because he's a descendant of NDC who are good at managing these things, we are going to fix it, and we are going to bring the program back on track, and we are going to develop a true national program that would solve the problems of our country.
So with all the challenges you have mentioned, I want myself and my listeners to know, what exactly are you going to do?
But I just want to ask His Excellency to forgive me if I start mentioning some of the things that he'll be speaking to. One, you have heard 24-hour economy.
Yes.
I want you to understand that 24-hour economy.
It is a question of its own.
Yes.
That we
24-hour economy. 24-hour economy is a mainstreaming policy. It's a capstone. When you say it's a mainstreaming policy, what it means that everything we do, our focus is how do we do it around the clock. So it is not agriculture, But when you come to agriculture, you mainstream 24-hour economy and say, okay, agriculture, how do we ensure that we are able to do agriculture 24-hour? When you come to industry, it is not industry, but how do we mainstream 24-hour economy to make sure that in industry we are able to run around the clock? When it comes to tourism, 24-hour economy is not tourism, but you mainstream it in tourism. When it comes to infrastructure, you mainstream it. So you cannot say 24-hour. See, that's why the ignorance is disturbing. 24-hour economy is not service. It's not agriculture. It's not industry. It's not petroleum. It's a mainstreaming policy. For every government policy, look for ways by which you can do that job around the clock, so that you create 3 shifts that create opportunity to improve production, to improve productivity, and to create employment and income earning opportunities for people. That is a 24-hour economy. We are bringing it. It means that we have policies on agriculture. On their own, we have policies on agriculture. One of our policies in agriculture is that we want to encourage a lot of youth to go into agriculture. We know that agriculture is the solution to our currency problem. Okay, about 40% of the problems of depreciation of our currency is emanating from imports of agricultural products.
Okay,
we are importing everything. In fact, Sahelian regions that are more like desert, we are importing tomatoes from there. Okay, we are in Niger importing onions. These are people that we think that they are even in the desert. So we want to ensure that we set up agricultural centers across the agricultural value chain, so that when you come and you are an agriculture, a young man who wants to go into agriculture, there is agriculture services center that provides all the equipment that you need to go into agriculture.
Will this one not be like you are taking it from the NDC's MPP's one district, one agriculture mechanization center? Because I've seen something like that yesterday.
Go and read our 2016 manifesto.
Okay.
And read the MPP 2016 manifesto. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama talked about agriculture mechanization or services center long before the MPP copied it. Don't forget that in 2020, when we launched our manifesto, they started copying and implementing it. And after they won power, they stopped. You remember? You remember? Okada. They say, oh, we'll give you trotro drivers, taxi drivers, Okada. Come and swap
your Okada with a car.
What happened?
I think he turned beans.
Yes. So that's what they are good at. They will copy. And because they are not the original thinkers of the idea, they mess it up. But John Mahama started talking about Agricultural Services Center way back in 2016 in the election. So you are going to have your tractors there. You are going to have your combine harvesters. You are going to have your planters. We are going to provide you with improved seeds. We are going to give you weedicides and the chemicals that you need and fertilizer. We are going to help you prepare the land, cultivate the land, harvest the land, and then you pay the services center for the cost of the services that they render to you, sell the produce and make your money. But we also know that one of the biggest problems of the agriculture sector is the market.
Sure.
That is why when His Excellency was here, we supported the Indians to set up Avnash in Yampala. We didn't call it one district, one factory.
Yeah, it's still in operation.
Did we call it one district, one factory? Let these people just come and paint a wall there. Just come and paint a wall. You will hear what they will be saying about Avnash. The aim of Avnash was to make sure that when you produce your rice, Avnash has the capacity to raise capital, come to the farm, buy your produce. In fact, if you don't have money to transport the produce, they will pay your transporters, give you an account of how much your produce is worth, take out the cost of your transport, and then you will send them an invoice. They will pay 2 weeks into that. They will pay the money into your bank account. You would have settled all those farmer services centers, their cost of preparing your land, providing with input and all of that, and you take your money.
So are you saying that when all those things are done, you are not going to pay the center until you sell your things out?
The government will provide the resources for the center to run.
Okay.
And support you. Then when you are done harvesting and we have created those opportunities for value adding. Okay, we are able to process the rice or whatever you are producing. We are able to process. That is where we will fill in the 24-hour economy. It is not so you produce, you process those agricultural produce in agribusiness over 24 hours to create jobs. That is not the same as chop bar. Tell that ignorant man that nobody said. In fact, common sense will tell you that if you are fond of eating fufu at 2 a.m., you will die of diabetes. You will die of diabetes. And you have a vice president who is so ignorant. You see, you can't force somebody who is not sleeping to wake up.
To wake up.
That is the point.
But
do you not understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm getting you now.
So in agriculture, that's how we are mainstreaming 24-hour economy.
But many of the things we use in agriculture in this country are imported.
Yes.
And that is killing farmers. What are you going to do to ensure that maybe fertilizer is available and accessible and cheap for the Ghanaian farmer? Because it's becoming...
During His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's time, we had a private investor who came into this country to set up a fertilizer processing plant.
Okay.
When they came, they said because he started from NDC, he must be an NDC man. We will bring back the process, the production of fertilizer in our country. I can tell you that I know a Ghanaian businessman, okay, who spent a lot of money to set up a processing plant here. We'll bring them back. We'll produce agrichemical here. We'll produce fertilizer here. And I tell you that we already have strategic investors who are Ghanaian and are willing to put the money into agriculture inputs. We will do that here. I understand you. You see, so that you don't go saying that, oh, it is Russia-Ukraine war. And yet the people who are being bombed, who are homeless, you go to them asking for wheat. So you see, you were caught. Akufo-Addo was roaming in Ukraine asking for food. No, you say it is because of bombing in Ukraine that you are poor. And now you went to the people who were bombed. No. I mean, how can you lie like that? Ghana beyond aid now asking for food. So His Excellency Dramani Mahama is going to improve agriculture value chain.
But where are we going to get money